I was curious. It's like, where did Jim Brown rank on the Millennium Greatest Athletes of the 20th Century? And I was looking at it, and ESPN had him fourth, and AP had him sixth. And it's like, and when I was looking at all the stuff he did, because he won 3 MVPs as a running back, which never happens before. Running backs can't even get 1 MVP. He rushed for 8,000 yards. I mean, I'm sorry, he rushed 8 times for over 1,000 yards. He almost went to the Olympics for the Melbourne Olympics in 1956 as a decathlon athlete.
Mm-hmm.
He was the second leading scorer at the Syracuse when he was playing for Syracuse, the second leading scorer on the basketball team, along with playing lacrosse, along with playing football, and he played all these sports in high school. In a lot of ways, when they bring up Jim Thorpe, Bo Jackson's name usually come up. But to be really honest, Jim Brown is probably the closest to Jim Thorpe, even though he never gets that type of credit.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I think you've heard me say it, and I'll say it again. To me, he's the greatest athlete ever that the United States has produced. I don't want to speak internationally because I don't have the knowledge, but the United States, Jim Brown's number one. Now, when I asked Jim Brown that question, he said Jim Thorpe. And when I asked him who was the best team sport athlete, he said Bill Russell. He wouldn't put himself there. I put him there. Because of as you said it, because of the diversity of sports. You know, he was in a decathlon meet, an NCAA meet while in college. He did not train for it, and he came in 5th.
Mm-hmm.
It's an NCAA meet. That's why they asked him to go to Melbourne, to hold off on his football career and go to Melbourne. And he did not do that, but it says something about his athletic acumen for sure. I think when you also the ESPN list, for example, also dealt with influence, and it says something about ESPN that to them, Michael Jordan was the most influential athlete because they're looking at it specifically from a market perspective, from a money perspective, from a globalization perspective. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen, and there is no world in heaven or hell where I put him ahead of Jim Brown on any kind of list about great athlete or great influencer. But you know what this speaks to, Kevin? It speaks to the great tragedy of Jim Brown's life, which is, yeah, he was world famous. Yeah, he was an icon and all this stuff. But he did not hit the ceiling of the influence he could have had in our society. And that is partially explained by racism. But to me, it's also explained by the fact that his personal life made him way too dicey to be brought into some of the corridors of power where he longed to be.